That's true.
Because a lot of the songs might be out of print.
That's what I say about you. The older, the better. He just keeps getting better as he's getting older.
I sure do. Like an old cheese.
Yeah, smelly too.
Smellier, but more delicious.
The brand was H exclamation point. I guess.
See, it looks like high fiber.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense. That does make more sense.
Ding! I can sense the evil on the item, I guess, because they always have a problem or come back.
That's true.
I don't know what it is. I need to start trusting my
I can't believe you
inner
can't
bloodhound.
sense the evil on me. This week, we're breaking down everything that sold from January 5th through 11th. Plus, we're going to announce the winner of the Jaden's thermal printer. And we're going to dive into a really frustrating return and issue with eBay that we think you guys should know about. So let's get started. All right, the first thing that we sold was a Canon PowerShot replacement strap and lens cap only. This did not include a camera. We got this at a garage sale. I think this was in a box with a camera that was like a different brand of camera.
See, I thought it was, we got it with a camera, but the camera didn't work.
That might be the case.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I feel like we bought a Canon camera, and this was how we tried to make the money back.
I think you're right. Okay, so what he said, so that's why our cost of goods was $3 on this. We did not intentionally just buy a replacement strap and a lens cap for $3, but we were trying to recoup cost from a bad buy is I think exactly what that was. It took a very long time to sell, but we did recoup our cost and made a little bit of extra. It sold for $13.58.
It's $4.
Yeah. Next up was a pair of men's Beverly Hill Polo Club jeans. We got these out of a storage unit for just 24 cents, and they sold for $22.99. Next up was a hymnal. This was a 1969 Tabernacle Publishing Company Favorite Hymns of Praise. We got this at a thrift store for $1.03, and it sold for $15.99 on Etsy.
We saw a lot of hymnals. I always pick them up if I see them.
A lot of hymnals. A lot of hymnals and a lot of Bibles.
A lot of hymnals, a lot of Bibles.
Yep.
And the older, the better.
That's true.
Because a lot of the songs might be out of print.
That's what I say about you. The older, the better. He just keeps getting better as he's getting older.
I sure do. Like an old cheese.
Yeah, smelly too.
Smellier, but more delicious.
All right, next up was a 2-pack of Star Wars Mandalorian kid-size bandanas. Kevin found a bunch of these at a garage sale. I think they had gotten them on clearance at Walmart or something. He paid 25 cents a package for them. And this set sold for $9.54.
We got a ton of them left.
Yeah.
But we've sold quite a few of them.
And it's a quantity listing, so makes it easy. Next up was a 1987 Play School Raggedy Ann stuffed doll. It says Reed, and I think it either had an issue with its hair or it was missing a part of its dress. We've had several Raggedy Anns, and I can't remember which one this was. But we had gotten it at a garage sale for 50 cents. It sold for $10.98. Raggedy Anns tend to sell. Even though this one didn't sell for much, we don't keep them around for very long. Next up was a vintage pair of Pendleton women's 100% wool pleated pants in a color hunter green. We originally purchased this with the jacket that went with it. It was a women's suit.
Like a wool suit.
And we got it out of this really dark garage at a garage sale. We paid 50 cents for the pants and probably something else for the jacket.
We paid 50 cents for the pants?
Oh, wait, no.
We paid $10.
No, we paid 10. That's right. I was looking at the wrong line.
Slight difference. We paid $10.
Wishful thinking.
We paid $10 for the suit.
It's true.
And then we had to get rid of the jacket, so we paid $10 for the pants.
So what happened was the jacket ended up having moth damage that we couldn't see in that dark garage. So I think
that's also where I got the white Wrangler shirt, and it had stains on it, and we didn't see it.
That garage was very dark.
But it's also where we got that black silk chouse jacket from last week.
And we also got all of that Clarins
all that clearance
and that
stuff.
has been a little gold mine.
And that really tacky silver silver belt.
Yeah, that Brighton belt.
That Brighton belt from a while back.
Yeah, we got some good stuff there.
We
even
did
though
well.
we got some stuff that was messed up, it was okay.
But we couldn't see any of it.
No, we couldn't. We were flying blind in that garage. All right, so that sold, did I say, for $27.99 on eBay?
I don't think we got to that point.
All right, well, that's how much it sold for. So not tons of profit on that, but I guess we felt good that we were able to scrape what we could out of it. Next up was an IKEA scub.
Skied.
They always have they just roll right off the tongue, the IKEA names, you know? It's like Betty Blig, scub. What's another one you can think of?
I don't understand what language she's speaking.
I'm speaking Swedish. Clearly.
I don't think you've seen the same shows as I have.
So anyway, this was a 9-slot hanging shoe organizer, and it was new in the package. We found this at one of the Goodwill bins.
Must have been one of the Houston bins.
Houston ones, yeah. And it sold for $16.99.
$3, but it sold fast, and every time we buy a packaged IKEA stuff, it sells fast.
It does.
We have very few things that we have not sold.
True. Next up was an antique 1897 gold dust devotional book by the Henry Altemus Company. And this was a religious book. This was gifted to us, so we had no cost, and it sold for $19.99.
This is little, right? Like the size
it was
of
little,
a little Bible.
It was old. I mean, it was from 1897. I'm surprised it wasn't worth more.
Yeah, I was too, actually.
Next up was a New Testament from 26 translations, 1977 Bible. This was also gifted to us, and it also sold for $19.99.
We sell a lot of Bibles.
We do. Next up was a 37-piece lot of American Girl, Our Generation, and My Life 18-inch doll accessories and clothes. These were all Nina's, and she played with these a lot, so some of them had some wear.
She recently, like every year, she goes through her stuff and gives us stuff to sell that she can't wear anymore. And this year, she also threw a bunch of her toys from when she was a kid. She finally outgrew them.
And she gave me a bunch of her old dolls and stuff to sell and get rid of, but I secretly hid them in the closet for her for later when she gets older, maybe to pass down to her kids, because I didn't think that she would really want me to sell like everything.
She's got rid of the generic stuff.
Yeah, I got rid of a lot of the generic stuff, but a lot of the more special dolls that she played with a lot, I stuck them in the closet to the side.
Someday she'll be like,
she'll want to give
whatever happened to that?
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh, magically I have it right here for you. Ta-da! And that whole lot sold for $31. I find that American Girl and stuff that fits American Girl dolls just always sells fast. It doesn't matter what brand it is. People are always looking for that stuff. Next up was the brand was H exclamation point. I guess.
See, it looks like high fiber.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. That does make more sense.
Ding!
So anyway, yeah, obviously. That's a high fiber DAC cable, a direct attach copper cable, some kind of computer cable. It was new in the package. We found it at a garage sale. They had a bunch of, it looked like maybe they built computers or something, because they had a bunch of really random computer stuff like this. And we bought everything that was new in the package. So we had paid 50 cents for this, and it sold for $13.99 on Mercari. That was kind of a weird Mercari sale.
It really was.
Yeah. And it sold to something that I think their username was something tech repair or something like that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Okay, next up was a beater lack. This is a brand to be on the lookout for because we've sold 2 or 3 beater lack blankets. They're just made of acrylic, but actually I would say beater lack and any other German-made acrylic blanket that looks like this is a bolo, because these blankets are very popular, especially if they have a big image of an animal. Like this one was a Cocker Spaniel, and it was a big full-size blanket for a bed. We got this at an estate sale for $7.50, and this one sold for $59.99. And then another one that we had sold, I know we sold another one that was kind of just a more of an abstract pattern. It didn't even have animals on it. It sold for a similar amount. And then I think we had gotten another one at a garage sale that might have had horses or something on it.
Yeah, I kind of remember horses.
So they've sold for us every time. So be on the lookout for those.
They're horrible to take pictures of because they're enormous.
Yeah.
But they're worth it. Yeah.
Yes, they sell every time.
If you make $36 on it each time.
Yeah.
I'll take a picture.
Yep. Next up was a Western style vest the brand was Wawmaker. I guess was made in Yuma, Arizona.
This thing was ridiculous looking.
It was like described as frontier clothing, for like a real cowboy, I guess. And that was purchased at a garage sale for $2 and it sold for $25.
Was that from that same garage sale?
That was from the one where we got the Longaberger basket and we got the iPod.
Okay. I remember which one it was.
And we got some Halloween costumes.
Yes. Yeah. I remember it now.
But I don't think this was a costume. This was a way of life.
No, this was just a vest.
If you know what movie that came from, let us know in the comments below. Next up, we're going to talk about something that we sold a couple of weeks ago because we want to share with you guys a very frustrating experience.
It's a harrowing tale
that we had.
Of woe.
So you may have seen in our recent Goodwill hunting video where we picked up this Lapco fire resistant jacket. It was in the bins. It was new with tags. And then a couple weeks ago, you may have seen in a What Sold video where we sold it. And we had sold it, I think, for $69.99.
Plus shipping and like $15 shipping.
Honestly, this buyer was like trouble from the start because we had gotten the order. We, of course, immediately shipped it. We usually do same day. Even before I thought it was reasonable to complain that it was late, he started complaining that it was late. He was complaining
before the thing said it should be there.
Yes. So I already knew this guy was going to be trouble. So at that point that he started complaining, I said, it still says that it's supposed to arrive within the stated delivery time. I think you just need to give it a little bit of time. However, if it starts to look like it's going to be late, I'll be happy to do a missing mail search, and that usually gets the item moving. We never heard back from him. However, when I get a request from a buyer or concern from a buyer that they're not going to get the item, I always start on my own, just following the tracking to make sure it's going to get there to them because I want to be aware of what's going on and make sure that it arrives. So I did see that the item ultimately arrived to him, and I thought, he's gotten it now. We hadn't heard back from him. Everything's okay.
I said it then, and as soon as he was complaining about it not being there yet, I said, oh, this is coming back.
Yeah. No, he was right. I mean,
you just know. As soon as you just know.
There's sometimes you can just tell by the way people word stuff that they're just going to be a major troublemaker, and that's how we felt about this guy. And this was weeks ago, so I don't know if I still have any of those messages, but I don't even know that those messages would prove anything. It's just a feeling that you get about people sometimes and the way that they're engaging with you. And that was how we felt about this buyer. So we were on vacation, or we were about to go on vacation. And we heard back from this buyer that he didn't receive it in time. And also he thought that it was not in the condition that he expected it to be in, despite the fact that it was new with tags. And I just responded back and I said, I'm so sorry you weren't happy with your item. We offer free returns. You're welcome to open a return on eBay, and we will happily give you your money back once we receive the item back in the same condition we sent it out in. And at that point, he opened a return. I cannot remember exactly when the return was opened, if it was opened before we left on vacation or after we left on vacation.
I think we were already gone.
But it didn't matter because what happened is while we were on vacation, our store was marked in away mode and we were on a cruise. So although we had internet access, it was really limited because you're in the middle of the ocean and the internet access on your phone is just typically not very consistent. And sometimes it's just, depending on which package you pay for. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been on a cruise before, but we had like the minimal package because we weren't going to be doing any like uploading or downloading or streaming or anything like that. We were really just monitoring things.
Yeah, like this package, you couldn't even watch a video.
Yeah. So that was really enough to do everything we needed to do. But what happened is he sent the item back and it arrived to our office while we were on vacation. And I don't even know.
Our mail was on hold.
But we couldn't have gotten it and inspected it anyway because we were on the ship.
Yeah.
So we got a notification from eBay that we had a return to deal with. But what was strange about it, and actually I don't have a screenshot of this particular item, but I took a screenshot of another item I got a notification of a return on because I experienced the same thing. It just gave me like a weird blank return in progress screen. And then there was a button that said, looked like you could click on that button to take you to, more information about the item, but that button was grayed out. And when you pressed on the button, nothing happened. Like it took you nowhere and you were stuck on that screen. Yeah, and so we're in the middle of the ocean and I can't further access any more information about exactly what's going on with this. And so I'm just thinking, well, we're going to be home in a couple of days when this is all going down. We're going to be home in a few days. We'll just handle this when we get home. Well, that was a mistake, you guys. I really should have just gotten on my computer and figured out some way to link to my phone and get on the internet, because what ended up happening was the item had come back to us and we were on eBay's timeline of however many days it was, 2 or 4 days, I'm not sure how many, to provide a refund of some kind to that guy. And at the point at which that timeline expired, he was on top of it. He immediately contacted eBay when that timeline expired and had a case opened against us. Well, once the case was opened against us, I did get an email saying a case has been opened against you. At that point, I immediately contacted eBay. Within minutes of getting that email, I contacted eBay. And it was expensive because to call eBay from the ship, it cost me like $5.99 a minute. It was not cheap. So I called eBay and talked to them, but the case had already been closed in the buyer's favor and he had been given a full refund of his purchase price plus his original shipping that he had paid out. So I still talked to eBay and I said, here's what's going on. We're in the middle of the ocean. Our store is on away mode. If somebody had taken a look at our account, they could have seen that. Had this case been opened and reviewed by a human, which I'm sure it wasn't, I'm sure it was all done by the computer. Had any human reviewed this, they would have seen that we were on away mode. And I would have thought that what should have happened was we would have been given a delay of some time to get back and deal with that. Because it was clear that we were going to be back in 2 days, according to everything that was indicated on our away mode timeline, and we would have dealt with it and provided the guy with his refund. So the customer service rep that I talked to, while she was very nice, really provided zero assistance. She was just like, well, you can contact us back when you get home and review the item if there's a problem. And I said, well, what do I do about this defect that I know is going to be on my account? And she said, well, according to my records, there's no defect on your account. And I said, I know there's going to be a defect on my account. It just hasn't shown up yet. At that point, he had also left negative feedback. I woke up the next morning, I think, and saw that he had left negative feedback. And the negative feedback that he left was insane. It said irregular size and wasn't new. Believe it was bait and switch. Then on top of that, have to wait to get refund. Come on, eBay, do better. Not to mention paid $14 for it to arrive stupid late. But yes, if you want overpriced used clothes claiming they are new, well, here is your seller. Well, I mean, we had clear photos of the item showing that it was new with tags. We also had clear images of the measurements of the item. So the fact that he is stating that it was sized irregularly, even if it was, we had clear images of the sizing and how it measured out. Yeah. So there was really no reason for that. So while I was on vacation, I did actually reach out to eBay through the Facebook app and asked what could be done about this feedback. I didn't mention anything about the return. I just focused on the feedback only. And the best way to get negative feedback removed is to point out how your listing directly contradicts their feedback. And if you have something that is objectively provable through your listing. Like, for example, this guy said, irregular size and wasn't new. Believe it was bait and switch. Our item was clearly photographed new with tags, and it didn't say anything about irregular sizing, plus we had measurements on there.
Yeah.
So that first sentence alone was reason enough, and they removed the negative feedback.
I feel like it was a vintage coat because it had some shelf wear, which is probably but it was new with tags, but like it had been in a store and it just never sold. So and maybe that's why the size was more snug than it would be now. I get that's what I guess, but we had all the measurements and pictures in there. So.
But that gives you an idea of the kind of person that we were dealing with.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did get the negative feedback removed. So we finished out our vacation. We made it back home. We got the mail. We opened the package, and lo and behold, the coat was in there and the tags had been removed, and the tag wasn't even included in the box. So we received back an item different than what we had sent out. No longer new with tags. So at this point, I reached back out to eBay again, and I explained the whole story, what happened, and I was told, too bad. There is nothing you can do about it. You cannot, we stand by the decision that we made. The defect on your account, which we now have and is now shown up, stands, and this is just the situation that you're in. I did complain and file a complaint against this buyer, but they basically said there's nothing you can do. Now I know we should have probably pursued something a little bit further while we were on board the ship to see what that return notification in our app was all about, but
they should take into account,
yes,
there's no point in them having an away mode if they're not going to use it when dealing with people.
Right. Also, what's the point of saying that you have seller protection when when you really offer no seller protection? Seller protection is just a bunch of BS.
It's a myth. It's like, I got some magic beans for you.
Yeah.
99 out of 100, possibly more times, they're going to side with the buyer.
Yeah.
Like every time. If you get sided with, it's a Christmas miracle. So if you have ever been sided with, enjoy it, because it's probably the only one you're going to get.
So I was just frustrated because this guy was so irrational. Plus, he had returned an item that now we can't sell as new anymore.
It always irks you more when it's real a-holes that get the money back and get everything that they asked for.
Yes.
They suffer no consequences. They just get everything.
So anyway, I was so frustrated about that. I'm still frustrated about that. But here's the other kicker. So I went in to evaluate what the situation was with the defect and everything. And I actually learned something new about how eBay applies defects to your account. And I'll share this screen with you guys, but there's multiple different types of defects, and a cases closed without seller resolution is a really special kind of eBay
the worst
defect.
One. It's the F word of cases.
So we currently have one of those. And as you can see, that puts us in at 0.2%. And we lose our top rated seller status if we reach 0.3% or less, which means if we have one more case closed without seller resolution, we don't just lose our top rated seller status. There's no in between here, you guys.
No, there's no above average. It goes straight to below standard.
It goes straight to below standard.
That is ridiculous.
I agree. That leaves no...
1 out of 509 transactions.
Do you believe that?
So you can only have 1 per 1,000 items. So make no mistakes and cross your fingers you don't get crazy people like this guy.
Oh, or if you're in away mode, make sure that you have access to internet at all times and that you're monitoring everything 100% of the time, and be prepared to give refunds on items that you can't inspect.
I think you can never just never go away. You have to stay in the store.
That's what they expect, apparently.
It feels like
there's no leeway there. I mean, we would have been back in 4 days.
That guy wasn't going to wait at all. Like I said, he was complaining before he ever got it.
Yes, exactly.
So he was already ready to send it back when he got it. So he just found things that he wanted to say to make it easy to send back without any problem. And he happened to get lucky, or he did it on purpose because he saw we were. I mean, this guy was on top of everything so fast.
Yes,
he might have seen that our store was on hold and sent it back then so that he could get his refund. Like, I wouldn't put it past this guy. This guy was shady. Can we put his username up?
No. I mean, we can, but I'm not going to.
His username is
beep. His username is...
It's a beep, all right, but not the kind you think. I got a username for him. His
name is, I got something coming for you.
I've got my own special username for him.
So anyway, this is... That was one thing that frustrates us. So that was something that happened a couple weeks ago. We just wanted to talk about it because all of the, stuff with the return was kind of unexpected. Okay, so...
Again, with the gut thing, like I knew he was going to return it. I've got such a gut about items I pick up that are going to have a problem and come back.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
Every time I pick something, I'm like, I don't know if I should pick this up. I can sense the evil on the item, I guess, because they always have a problem or come back.
That's true.
I don't know what it is. I need to start trusting my inner bloodhound.
The evil on me.
Oh, I sense it. It's too late for me now.
Okay, so next up, this is going to segue into the next thing we're going to talk about because we actually
another return,
but this was actually my fault. This was totally my fault, and this buyer was very nice.
I want to admit when it's our problem.
Oh, 100%.
We're not.
We're not unreasonable. Yeah.
This one was our fault. The other one was totally our fault.
And this buyer, I just want to say this buyer was extremely nice.
Super nice.
Okay, so at the garage sale across the street, we had purchased a big bag of Magna tiles, or that's what I thought they were. As it turns out, these were actually like off-brand Magna tiles, and I got an education from this buyer, and she was so nice about it, but she pointed out that real branded Magna tiles actually have a Magna tile stamp on every single piece. So just a side note there, because Magna tiles themselves, the branded ones are valuable and will sell, but these were not actually Magna tiles. And I did not know that, so I learned that.
We'd never sold those before, so...
No, it was just something...
Live and learn.
Yes, live and learn. So anyway, we had paid $2 for those at a garage sale, sold those for $39.99. She opened a return. She said...
it was a bait and switch. They weren't new. No, she didn't.
She didn't. She just said it wasn't what she expected and she wanted to return it.
She was completely right.
Yeah, and I apologized and told her we'd be happy to, give her a full refund. So what happened with this, though, that was scary, because remember, you guys, we could not have another cases closed without seller resolution.
Oh, not again.
So this item we knew was on its way back to us. And then I got that weird screen pop up on my app again that was like the blank grayed out thing saying you need to refund this buyer. And I'm like, we didn't get anything back. So now we're back in, the real world, and I'm able to go onto my computer and research it. And I figured out that eBay was claiming, like it actually stated on the listing and on the return, it is time to refund the buyer. You've received the item back is basically what eBay stated. It's time to refund the buyer. However, we did not have the item back. And if you clicked on the tracking, eBay knew that we didn't have the item back because the tracking showed that we didn't have the item back. So I was like, well, why has just enough time passed? Because I was running late. Are they just assuming that we've gotten it and that the tracking didn't update? Like, what exactly is going on here? So I reached back out to eBay again and let them know we have not received the item back yet. I don't want to refund the buyer until we get the item back. Not that I anticipate any issues, but we've had issues in the past, and it's just our policy. Obviously, we want to make sure we're going to get not just an empty box or something. So they said, well, you can request an escalation, and that will allow you a 10-day extension. However, if you do that, basically you give up your right to initiate the refund, and then eBay has to initiate the refund. You have to reach back out to us and say, I give you permission to initiate the refund. And I said, okay, Well, part of having top rated seller status is that if I do get an item back and it's not complete, or it's missing pieces or parts, or it's damaged in some way, I can offer a partial refund. Do I still have that ability? And they said, well, maybe, but no, you don't have that ability to manage it yourself. Basically, the decision falls into eBay's hands. And I'm like, well, that's not fair. That's not fair because the tracking clearly shows that it's not made it back to me yet.
It wouldn't have happened in the other direction.
No.
Had it not been delivered to the buyer, believe me, we would not have gotten our funds early.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't have happened.
No. So I'm sitting there thinking about this very critically because I'm having to think about multiple things. I'm thinking if we have another case closed without seller resolution, we not only lose our top-rated seller status, we go to below standard. And so I'm like, okay, well, how long do I have to close this case? And it was until the 29th. And this was, the 29th is Tuesday. And I was contacting eBay that Friday before. So I said, okay, so I just want to make 100% clear that if I give this until Monday, the 28th, that I'm not putting my account in any risk. I can reach back out to eBay on Monday and at that point ask you to escalate it. And hopefully I'll receive the item back before then. They confirmed that that was okay. So that's what I decided to do. I felt like that was the lowest risk solution. And luckily we got the item back in the mail before then. It was in good condition and we issued a full refund to the buyer. But I just want to point out how many flaws there are in the eBay system that, in my opinion, like we are very conscientious.
We're model eBay citizens.
Sellers. Yeah, we don't do anything hinky or questionable, and we are always trying to make it right with the buyer. And for us to have gotten so close to hitting below standard on these two things, that is scary, and there is a flaw in the system.
At minimum, they need to make it 5 or something out of 500
at a minimum.
I mean, that's crazy that they could do that. You get 2 bad buyers in a row.
Well, that wasn't a bad. The second one wasn't a bad buyer, but that was a flaw.
I'm saying if you get 2 bad buyers in a row,
oh, I see. Yeah,
you're done.
Yeah,
you're plummeted to the bottom with the dregs of society. No offense if you're a below standard zone.
Yeah, ADH Dave. Oh. Now we like ADH Dave. Don't get it twisted, but
it stresses me out.
How it stresses out so bad to run the business like ADH Dave does.
We have different.
We definitely have different work styles.
Yes.
But he is a very nice person. Okay, so anyway, we wanted to share those experiences with you guys because I felt like it was just kind of a perfect storm 2 times in a row. And like, how is that even possible? It's just crazy to me.
So close.
Okay, so moving on to everything else that sold. There was a pair of Athletic Works men's jogger, like classic drawstring jogger sweatpants. Classic jogger sweatpants always sell. Not for much, but they always sell. These were gifted to us, so they were free. So anytime something's free like that, we always
Those really didn't sell for much.
No, $10. But I'm telling you, those always sell. Next up was a 1998 Spice Girls on Tour, like mini, tiny little posh Spice doll in a box.
Or 2 inch.
It was like one of those mini brand things, but it was before mini brands was a thing. This was gifted to us and it sold for $9.99. Next up was a lot of 2 Karen Kane women's black and navy V-neck roll tab sleeve tunics. These were gifted to us and they sold for $20.
Oh, those things are the worst to take pictures of.
Yeah.
The material is so slinky and it's just so impossible to lay flat. It drives me crazy just thinking about it.
It's gonna be
That's why I don't like taking pictures of clothes. Stuff like that. I know.
All right. And next up, we actually want to announce the winner of the Jaden's thermal printer.
Winner!
So thank you so much to everybody who entered. And we did a random comment selector. And the winner was
Sezzy
Tube. You won. We will reach out to you through your original comment And if you will please reach out to us via our email address that's listed in the description box below, we will provide instructions on how to claim your prize. Next up was a vintage 1975 Duncan ceramic hand-painted mice sleeping on a walnut shell with a quilt. And you got that at that garage sale where you got all those trinkets.
All those trinket boxes.
You paid 25 cents for it, and it sold for $19.99.
We're doing good on that trinket haul.
Next up was a 1908 Alvin silver plate bride's bouquet sugar spoon with a C monogram. And that came from that same garage sale.
Yeah, same garage sale.
We paid $1.75 for it, and it sold for $18. Next up was a Back to the Future flux capacitor hoodie from H&M. This was gifted to us.
That was Nina's, wasn't it?
It sold for $15. Yep. Next up was a Way to Celebrate red tulle foil heart Valentine's skirt. We got that out of a storage unit for 28 cents, and it sold for $10. Next up was a Polo Ralph Lauren women's black cotton and linen military jacket. And that came from a garage sale for $1. It sold for $56 on Poshmark. Okay, next up was a pair of Chico's Travelers women's pull-on pants in that slinky acetate material.
Those super heavy ones.
These always sell. These were gifted to us, and they sold for $22.95.
Yeah, we always sell those.
Next up was a Ralph Lauren men's red tartan plaid button-up shirt. This came from a garage sale for $2, and it sold for $19. Next up was a pair of Ralph Lauren. Lots of Ralph Lauren here.
Lots of Lauren this week.
Yeah, this was a pair of 100% linen women's pants. We got these at the Austin Pets Alive thrift store for $7.64, and they sold for $39.99.
That was where I met the cute little doggy who had the wheels for his back legs.
Yeah, his name was Wheels.
It was a girl. I can't remember the dog's name now, but it was really cute.
All right, next up was a lot of 4 100% cashmere sweaters for fabric upcycling and crafting. 2 of them were shrunk and 2 of them had holes in them.
As you know, I am a bloodhound of cashmere.
Yeah, you do find a lot of cashmere.
I do find a lot of cashmere.
So we found those at, one of them was mine that I accidentally shrunk.
I didn't find that one.
I grieved over that for a while. And then 1 was from a garage sale and 2 were from the bins. So we paid $1 in total for all of those, and they sold for $34.97. We got very positive feedback on them.
And those weren't like usable ones.
Yeah.
That's just the material they're paying for. Yeah. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. All right. Next up was an HP Pavilion Tower PC and monitor. We did not know if it worked because we had 0 cords for it, but it looked like it was in really good condition. Yeah. And it was gifted to us to sell. It sold for $25 on Facebook Marketplace for local pickup. So we had no fees. Next up was a 1996 Denny's hologram baseball card for the player Ryan Sandberg. This was Kevin's, and it sold for $2.59.
It was a nice set.
Next up was a Grand Canyon National Park Journal magazine from 2021. This was free through the Nextdoor app. Somebody was giving away a bunch of magazines. A lot of them were travel related, and this one sold for $9. Next up was a lot of 2 Spin Master remote control Gravedigger monster trucks, but we did not have the remotes for either one. They were 2 different sizes. A lot of times people will buy these RC vehicles for just like parts, specifically I think like the chassis. Is that what it's called?
Are you talking about the top or the bottom?
The bottom.
The bottom is the chassis.
Yeah, that part I think. But I think
they might
buy them for the top.
Yeah. And then replacing the top.
Yeah, so even if you don't have the remote, sometimes they'll sell anyway. Especially people love Gravedigger. Gravedigger is so popular. So we had paid $6.40 for those, and they sold for $34.99.
I mean, Gravedigger's been popular since I was a tyke.
I'm surprised Gravedigger is still alive. You know, he's been alive for a long time.
I think it's a different person. But I remember going and seeing them in Dallas.
What?
I went and
saw a different person.
Went and saw monster trucks in Dallas My mom took us. It's weird. I don't know why we went.
I've never seen monster trucks.
But but
I have been to a demolition derby.
As a child, it's quite interesting to all the noise and the thing. Now it would just drive me insane.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of it.
No, the noise and stuff would stress me out.
And immediately after, I think I was like 14 or 15 when I saw, because immediately after that, we went to the movie theater and watched Rocky IV in the theater.
Interesting.
I must break you. Mm-hmm. If he dies,
do the Sylvester Stallone, the Rocky impression.
I
don't know why it's always funny to me.
It always makes her laugh. I don't know why.
I just make him do it. Okay, so next up, I'm still concerned about this purchase, so we may be reporting back on this one at some point. So it had iced over in Texas, and we had decided to go stay at a hotel the night before our vacation next to the airport, so we would be sure to make it to the airport safely and on time for our flight. So we were in the hotel, and this item sold. And this was the 1994 Marvel Masterpieces Dr. Doom card. And it sold for $2.29. I swear to you, it is always the people who spend the least amount that cause the most trouble.
The ones that want discounts, the ones that make offers, and the ones who buy the cheapest little cheapy things. You'll get complaints from them all day long. The people who buy the expensive stuff, normally they're happy.
It's true. So anyway, when we're on away mode, and I also want to plug our upcoming What Sold video, because we're going to talk all about how we do away mode and the do's and don'ts of away mode. So we'll be diving into this topic a lot deeper on the next What Sold video. But one thing we always do when we're on away mode is if we're still selling items on away mode, we will always send a message to every buyer who purchases something.
Well, first, it says it on the page where you're buying the item. It says across the top, this seller is away. Your item will not be shipped until whatever, which was like January 19th.
Right. And also his delivery date was altered.
It said that he wouldn't get it until the 20-something because we were on away mode.
But to cover our butts, I always send a message to every buyer to make sure, and every single one, every time we sell something when we're on away mode, I send a message similar to this, depending, on the dates and stuff like that, to make sure that the buyer has all of the information that they need and to basically mitigate any issues. So within minutes of this buyer purchasing this card, I sent a message on January 9th, and it said, "Hi there, and thanks for your purchase. As a reminder, and per the note on the listing, we are away, and your item will be processed for shipping on January 19th when we return. If you prefer to cancel, just reach out, and we will be happy to assist. Thanks for your patience." We did not hear back from them at all after sending that message. Then on January 21st, which was still, we were not supposed to ship this item until the 19th, remember?
And the 19th was what, a Saturday? Mm-hmm. So the 20th is a Sunday. It's not going anywhere. The 21st was a holiday. So it's not going anywhere. It's not going to go out until the 22nd, just because of the post office.
Right.
Nothing to do with us. I mailed it on the 19th as soon as we got back.
Right.
So
then I got a message from him on the 21st that said, "I'd like a refund. It's been 2 weeks and I haven't received it yet. It took too long to send out." I messaged back immediately and said, "I'm sorry that there has been confusion. As stated in the listing and as stated in the message sent upon purchase, see above. Your item was processed for shipping on January 19th and has been shipped. The expected delivery date as shown on your order details is January 22nd through 29th. If you have not received your item by January 30th, please reach back out to us for further assistance." Now, today is the 26th, and I checked before we recorded this video, and he still has not received it yet. So I'm checking this every day to make sure that it's going to arrive to him, because it's just weird that I feel like he has a little petulant fit and then messages, and then we never hear from him again.
I know.
And then he's going to decide where is that Dr. Doom card, and pitch another little fit and probably open a return.
Probably. We're going to get something on it. I doubt he'll open a return, but he'll probably leave bad feedback or something.
That's the thing. It's man,
but she sends that message out to every person who buys something, just so they know and they won't come back later and be this idiot.
But it still happens.
Yeah.
You can't.
You can't make people not be stupid.
Even though I really try. I try so hard.
She tries. She looks in the mirror every day and she tries, and it just never happens.
I know. All right, so next up was a 15-piece lot of clothing and accessories for 8 and 12-inch baby dolls. These were Nina's, and we had no cost. They sold for $18.99. Next up was a 2020 Buffalo Creek Golf Club official course guide, and this was from a golf course in Rockwall, Texas. It always surprises me that stuff like this sells, but it does. This was free to us, and it sold for $12.99. Next up, we are going to share with you guys all of our totals from this week. All right, the total number of sales were 33. It was kind of low. Well, 33 sales is not that low, but...
It's not bad considering that was the week we put it on hold.
Yeah. Our average sale price was $21.51. And our sales totaled $709.75, which I think that's low. And our net profit was definitely low at $337.99.
Yeah. I knew January was going to be a wash.
January is typically bad for so many reasons. January is just bad for resellers. January, we're usually doing inventory, so we're usually just doing sell similar on older items. So the sell-through rate on the items that we're listing is not as high as it normally is. And then also we were out of town this particular for part of this week, so that affected it.
So March is normally our best month of the year.
It's one of our best
I
months,
wonder if that's because that's also right after we've completely finished our inventory is March.
Probably to some degree, yeah.
And people have maybe made some money back from Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never thought about the inventory thing because we do take a long time to finish inventory.
Yeah, we've taken longer this year too because we've been sick.
We were out of town and we were sick. So.
We've been sick. Yeah, it's been. So I don't know if you guys noticed in the last couple of Wet Sold videos, we were both like kind of low energy.
I was really out of it because I didn't feel good.
We have not been feeling good.
I'm just now coming up.
Yeah, it's been rough. So anyway, that wraps up everything. But stay tuned because if you're interested, we do have some of our footage from our vacation to share with you guys, and but if you don't want to stick around for that,
movies.
We didn't want to force you into it.
But you can leave if you just came for the sales.
Exactly. So if you are interested in sticking around for that, it'll be upcoming. And at the very end, make sure that you stick around for the next video that YouTube recommends. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, we would really appreciate it if you would hit subscribe. I do know that we have like 95% of our viewers are not subscribers. So shame. You guys need to subscribe.
That seems like most of YouTube.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit like and do all of that stuff to support us. All right. So we'll catch you guys on the flip side. But not until after you
watched the vacation footage. Not until after you've watched the vacation footage.
Nailed it. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, yeah.
That was a loud one.
Woo. All right.
I hit the ring.